So within the knowledge path, there is some information on calculating a z-score for a data value. So I could take the data value of 26 within my table, and I could calculate the z-score for it, and then take that and use that to find the probability using some different formulas and the z-score table. The cool thing about MiniTab is you can bypass the z-score table and that method and use MiniTab to calculate the actual probability value. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to statistics again. This is kind of the menu where we spend a lot of time, and we're going to go to probability distributions, distribution plots. And this time, instead of single distribution, we're going to go to display probabilities. So if you recognize the knowledge path, they have these images of the graph where they're shaded like this, and they ask you to find the probability that a value is greater than a certain number. So if I was looking for greater than a certain number, that would be a right tail, because my larger values are going to fall on the right hand side. If I was looking for the probability of something being less than, that would be a left tail, because it would be the smaller values. The equal tails is when I'm working with both sides of the numbers, but the majority of what you're going to see in your assignment is going to be a right or a left tail, so less than or greater than. And in the assignment for this week, it asks you specifically about a time greater than a given time. So we're going to go ahead and work with that right tail test here so that we're finding a value that is greater than maybe our mean. So maybe I'm looking at a value that is, what is the probability that time is greater than 40 seconds? Okay. So once I'm in this menu, I'm going to do, my distribution is going to be normal. We're assuming normality here. I'm going to enter my mean. So remember, from the mean, I run my descriptive statistics, and the assignment is given to you, but you can also run your descriptive statistics to find your mean and your standard deviation. So for my times that I have here, the 14 values, my mean was 36.5 and my standard deviation was 9.2. That's really important to have that information. Then I'm going to select the right left tail test. Since I want values greater than, I'm looking at the right tail test. So I'm looking at something greater than a specific value. And so then when I'm looking at my distribution, it's going to shade it. So the probability that my value is greater than 51.6 seconds would be what would fall here in that 5%. So the 5% of my times would be greater than 51.6. So it wouldn't be very likely that I would have something that's that high. Now, if I want to alter this and I want to enter a specific time, I'm going to go back into my menu. I'm going to choose that display probability. I'm going to choose normal distribution. I'm going to enter my mean and my standard deviation. Now, if I want to select the time that it's greater than, I would choose a specified X value. So if I'm wanting to say, okay, I want to know what is the probability, let's say maybe that my time is greater than 41 seconds. I'm going to enter 41 and I'm going to do a right tail test. So this tells me I have a 41 here and 31%. So there's a 31% chance that I have a time greater than 41. So that is somewhat probable, right? 31%, not a great probability, but not a terrible one either. And then let's look at a left tail test. So this is bypassing that z-score table that you're utilizing, so you don't have to use a table at all when you're working in MiniTab, as long as you're familiar with the process of how to do this. So again, I'm entering my mean and my standard deviation. You have to know that information. And let's say I want to know the probability that my time is less than, let's say, 29 seconds. Let's say I'm very terrible at this game. And so I'm going to enter my X value of 29, and it's going to create that probability plot. And so I have a roughly 21% shot of being less than 29. So again, it's not very probable, but it is somewhat probable. It is possible, and not a lot of values are falling in that category of less than 29. So this is a great way to bypass some of that table work where you're having to do the z-score and then locate the z-score in the table in order to identify the probability. This is a way of using MiniTab to run those calculations for you.